So from my table, I know that point A is going to be -1 in x and -6 in y. So I know that B is 0 and -1. And C, 1 and 2. Now comes the fun part. Put this in a graph. Hold on a second. I'm going to draw the coordinates, the coordinate grid, and I'll be right back. Hey, back in black. So I just drew my coordinates plane here, and now I'm going to plot these points. So A is going to be -1 in x. Remember, x is here, so -1. And -6, so I know that it's going to be a point over here. You can draw these little dots to help you. Okay? Yeah, not very well done. This is the point. Okay? So this is the point A. -1, -6. Okay. Now point B. 0 in x, so it's in the y-axis. 0 in x, -1 in y. So here it is. Okay, and now my point C is 1 and 2. For now, it looks like a straight line. Okay, it looks like a straight line, more or less. So we're gonna need a few more points to see if this is gonna be a straight line or if it's gonna become a parabola. Like, how is it gonna become a parabola? All right, so we're gonna need a few more points. So I'm gonna move on with guessing the numbers. All right, so keep guessing until I find a repeated value for y. Because as you remember, our parabolas are going to have 2 points that will be the same in the y. Remember, we talked about this in class. I drew a horizontal line and you told me that there were 2 different x's in the same y. So we need to find a common y. So I have already guessed. Gonna rewrite my table. We guessed -1, -6. We guessed 0, -1. We guessed 1 and 2. So far now, I haven't any y value that's repeated. So I'm gonna have to keep guessing until I see a number that's repeated. So I'm gonna do with 2 now. Y equals -x² plus for x minus 1. So x is 2. Two squared is 4. The minus it's outside, so it doesn't become positive. 2 times 4 is 8. So this is +3. This was point A, B, C. Now this is point D. Okay, let's try number 3. Still, nothing has repeated yet. Look, here we found y equals 3. Now I'm guessing x equals 3. It's a whole different story. Okay? So In the place of x, I'm gonna put 3. And moving on. So we had 3 squared, that's 9, negative 9. 3 times 4, 12. Minus 1. So your y is going to be 2. Because this is 3. 3 minus 1, 2. Ooh. So something has just happened. We found that the y in the point C is the same as the y in the point E. But they have different axes. That's great. Let's write these points over here. Point D is 2 and 3. And point E is 3 and 2. I was just saying, I just rewrote all the points in this table as ordered pairs. And we're going to plot D and E, which are the new ones we just found out. So I need 3 in Y. So this point's 2 in X, 3 in Y. And then the last point, 3 in X, 2 in Y. So now if we connect this, now this looks like it's gonna be a parabola, right? So we're gonna connect them. There you go, our parabola, all right? So this is the graph that represents this equation, this function. This is the graph. And any of the points that belong in here would fit in this equation. So for putting this equation into this graph, we guessed numbers until we found 2 repeated y's, and then we plotted these points, okay, and linked the points, okay? So far so good, piece of cake. So right now, if you're still in doubt on how to do it, pause the video, go back, try doing this yourself instead of watching the video. Write these down on your notebook, try finding the ordered pairs and graphing it yourself. And then if you have any further doubts, you can just watch the video again and see how it's done, okay? Now, I'm gonna do a second one, and we're gonna analyze the relation between the function and the graph, okay? So, example number 2 is gonna be y equals x squared minus x minus 2. Okay, good to go. So I want to graph this. I know that I have to guess numbers for x so I can find y. And if I have x and y, I have ordered pairs. So let's draw beautiful table. So we're gonna guess numbers for x, replace them in the function, find y from replacing them, put y in the table, guess until we find repeated value for y. Okay? I'm just underlining here. Okay? So, alright. I'm gonna start with -1. Is that okay for you? -1. Good. So, if x is -1, then y equals x squared minus x minus 2. I'm gonna replace y, x for y, okay? Remember to use parentheses. -1 squared is going to be +1, minus with the minus positive. So y is going to be 0. Great. I'm guessing 0 for x. I'm using this side here. So I'm changing my x's for 0. Zero minus 0 is 0, so my answer is going to be -2. Okay? So now I'm guessing 1. Okay? For x. Let's see what happens. Replace the x for +1. +1 square root of 1 minus 1 minus 2. 1 minus 1, 0 minus 2. So, luckily, we already found a repeated y, so we don't need to move any further. Okay? Now, let's write these as ordered pairs. There's going to be A, B, and C. So, A is -1 and 0. B is 0, -2. C is 1 and -2. Let's plot these beauties. I'm gonna draw the graph and I'll be right back. So moving on. My first point is -1 in x and 0 in y, so it is exactly this point. This is my point A. My second point is 0 in x, so it's gonna be in the y-axis, and -2 in y, so it is this point. This is B. And then I have 1 in x and -2 in y. So it is this point. Miss, how do I turn this into a parabola? Piece of cake. Let's link them. But I don't know the other points. It is okay if you don't know the other points. All you need are these three. You need these two that repeat that you know that's going to become the parabola. Very soon we will learn how to know which is the point where the parabola starts going down, starts growing up back. Okay? So now you're going to try to redo this one without taking a look at the video. You're going to write down in your notebook. You're going to try to do it on your own. If you can't, then you rewind the video, take a look back, and do it again. And now we're gonna quit here. You're gonna go to some exercises that I'm gonna give you. You're gonna do the exercises, and then you're gonna move to the next video. All right? Okay? So move on. Bye.